The most powerful thing that I found in conscious Islam, direct ability to communicate with God and God communicating with you makes you a VIP. So who's more important than Allah? You know, when you have to talk to someone important, you have to get an appointment.
Yep. Yeah.
When you have to talk to someone important, you better find people who know people who know people who can finally get you in the room. And then they will make time for you when they have time. But Allah has time for you whenever you turn to Him. And He responds immediately. He's never too busy for you or too important for you. This is a very empowering thing. Praying in the stairwell, praying in Central Park, praying in like anywhere. Everybody can see. You're exposed. The old me would have been like, what are you doing? People are watching you. What's going on with you? Like, and now this new extremist me was like, no, Allah sees. That's all that matters. I'm just going to pray. People walk by and say, move over, Muhammad. It was terrifying, but it was also really cool. I was just keep praying. I didn't know much about Islam then, but it seemed like prayer was an act of rebellion. What do I mean by that?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Ashraf Khalid dan bersama saya
Ishraq Kamaruddin.
Selamat datang ke Apa Cerita Podcast, di mana kita mendengar kisah individu-individu yang berjaya dan menarik untuk dijadikan sebagai inspirasi dan teladan. Alright, Wak.
Yes.
Today we are in it.
It's been a while, but you didn't fumble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been a while. And today, of course, is a very special episode.
Yep.
It's a last episode of the year.
Yes.
We want to do something special also for us to reflect juga our 2025 punya journey, and with someone really special.
Correct.
Someone that is known globally. And I think without further ado, maybe you can take it away and introduce our guest.
Yes, with pleasure. But before that, I want to sarankan kepada siapa-siapa yang belum lagi subscribe ke Apa Cerita Podcast, please do subscribe. It's free, and so that we can help more people and the algorithm will help spread more of the content that we produce here. Alright, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today's guest has spent over 2 decades reshaping the way millions of people around the world understand the Quran. From growing up as a teenager, struggling with identity and purpose, he rose step by step, starting off as a student of Arabic, a community teacher, a linguist, a writer, and today he stands as the founder of Bayyinah Institute, one of the most influential Qur'anic education platforms in the world. What makes his journey remarkable is how he's brought the Quran closer to the modern heart. Through his work, classic Arabic became accessible to global audiences. Deep spiritual concepts became emotionally relatable, and religious study became something young people could not only memorize, but to also feel. Whether it is breaking down a single word from the Quran or speaking to the quiet struggles we all carry, he has built a legacy that blends language, faith, and humanity in a way where only few were able to do. It is an honor to have him here today. Brothers and sisters, please welcome to the founder of Bayyinah Institute, all the way from the United States of America, Sheikh Nouman Ali Khan. Assalamualaikum, Sheikh.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm doing well. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you so much for making the time.
Yes.
Being here. I know you are, busy with so many activities. Even, the first day you came, I think we had dinner.
Yep, straight from the airport.
Yeah, and then after that, every day I saw social media or, on my FYP, a lot of your face. Different kind of community
different
events.
circles, yeah.
Different circles. I was like, wow, he's really like, putting a hard work in Indonesia and like not really relaxing. And
it was a very networking trip.
That's good.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, so thank you again for being here.
Yeah.
Okay, Sheikh, I think, of course, a lot of people know you as a spiritual teacher, as a sheikh and stuff like that. But I want to bring it back to the start. And what I found out that you actually moved between Germany, Pakistan, and the US as a kid. So maybe you can share with us a little bit of your pivotal moments during those times.
Yeah, Germany, Pakistan, Saudi, and
The mixture.
and America. Yeah.
Oh, Saudi as well.
Saudi as well, yeah. So my father served in the Pakistan Foreign Affairs. He was in the embassy. So because he got stationed in different places, we went where he went. And so my late sister and I were born, and my younger sister were born in Germany while he was stationed there. And I think the pivotal moments in my life that you're asking about, more than anything else, is that we became used to being moved around. So we became used to the idea that no place is a permanent home, kind of thing. A lot of times people, they grew up in a certain place and this is my hometown. They'll have all my childhood memories here, et cetera, et cetera. Our family didn't really have that. We are more connected to people than we are to places, in a sense, right? So it made us also, I think, what that did psychologically to myself, my siblings, is as it made us more adaptable to new environments, new cultures, new languages. So, you're in Germany. My first language was actually German.
Oh.
Until the age of 6, I didn't speak anything else except German. I don't speak any of it now. It's gone.
Oh, really?
Yep, vanished into the universe. Yes, gone. So somewhere, some neurons probably have some rusty files. I haven't found them yet. It's in the closet somewhere in the brain. But and then I learned Urdu, and then when I came to America, I didn't speak practically any English, and when I was 14, and I learned English. But that was part of our wiring as a family, is that we adapted wherever we went, and then that gave me, I think that background, helped me become acclimated to acquire languages. And I think that's part of the reason I found Arabic easy to learn. Even though Arabic is distinct from all other languages I've tried to learn.
Arabic at a young age?
The average Muslim education, learning the Qaida Nuraniya, learning how to recite the Quran at a basic level, and then you don't really learn what it means or anything like that.
Like most of us.
Like the ritual recitation of the Quran, right? That's just the average Muslim level of knowledge,
So how was your parents like when you were younger? Were they like strict? Were they like, and of course you had to move around with different cultures. So did that different culture also sort of like you had to adapt to those different cultures as well?
You didn't have to adapt, but my parents I come from a very, I suppose, middle class and average family. So we're not liberal and we're not conservative. If you looked at them from the outside, you wouldn't think these are, particularly, far left, and you wouldn't think they're far right. They're just kind of in the middle, right? So, many people in my family, for example, don't wear hijab. I didn't grow up around it. I don't know of any member of my family that was a hafiz of Quran in my extended family. I don't know of any. I don't know of any scholar in the family, religious scholar. But we prayed 5 times. Many family members didn't pray at all. Some prayed 5 times. Some prayed just Jumu'ah. We had that variety. And, the Jumu'ah Muslims, right? That was so my exposure to Islam was it was kind of a part of our identity, but it didn't shape our identity in that sense, in the more conscious way, right?
But I guess the foundation or the root was there.
The root was there. And of course, being raised in Saudi, you get some exposure to Islam in an Islamic environment. So that was there. And I come from Pakistan. My family's Pakistani originally. So Pakistanis have a way of being everywhere and still being in Pakistan. So it doesn't matter if you're in Germany or you're in Saudi or you're in America, you'll find your Pakistani clique and you'll make a mini Pakistan and do your thing. Right?
I saw you managed to find a Pakistani restaurant in Istanbul.
Yeah. I totally did. A really good one too. It was actually my first search when I got there. That was my first search when the first time I went to Mexico City. I was like, what's Pakistani restaurant?
But
I actually found one.
But good thing Pakistani food is everywhere in the world, right?
Yeah.
Most places would have. Even in Japan, man. Recently I went to Japan. Yeah. We had some.
Yeah, I had some in Hong Kong.
You see?
Interesting.
Yeah, so you feel familiar everywhere.
Yeah, so that was one part of, I think, the formidable years. I think the other was just respect for teachers is ingrained in Muslim culture.
Yep.
And it was a culture shock when I went to America because there's no respect for teachers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, man. People are chewing gum in the teacher's face or putting their feet up on the table and stuff. Like, teachers like, can you please put that down? And people are talking in the back. Like, this was like death penalty stuff back in Pakistan. Like, you're just getting away with it. So, and there was a casualness, right? So you can call your teacher Mr. or Professor, or you could just become friends with them, call them by their first name, which I couldn't understand how that works.
Just call them Mary or something.
Yeah. And so that part of the culture I never liked. There's lots of parts of American culture I really liked.
But was it difficult to come from in Saudi, right? The culture is very like you have to have a lot of adab, how do you say, respect to people around you, and then suddenly you go to US where it's very open and like I'm sure even like relationship was a bit more open. The women there are a bit more open. So how was that?
Not a bit more.
It's a lot more.
It's, when I was in Saudi in the 80s, it was far more conservative than it is now even, right?
Yep.
So we went to a boys' school, all boys school from 2nd grade to 8th grade. I used to go pick up my sister from her school. And again, 2nd grade to 8th grade, they have the school gate and then the security guard opens the gate. And of course, when you open the gate, you could see inside. They had a giant curtain behind the gate. And then they would have a mic to say, this person's family is here. And then the child would come out around the curtain so you don't see except the child that's coming out.
Wow.
And those girls would wear niqab at the time in Riyadh. They would wear, and not the niqab where you could see the eyes. That was too liberal.
Even the eyes.
It was the whole like straight up.
Cover everything.
So now I don't know how to recognize which one's my sister because they're all wearing uniform. They're dressed the same, and they all got the right. So I used to recognize her from her Puma sneakers.
Lucky her wasn't too short. It wasn't too long, right?
If it's too long, you can't.
Yeah, and so that's okay. You this way. So that was where we grew up.
Yeah.
And I don't think much of Saudi is like that anymore, but that's what it was then.
Yeah.
And that was our childhood, And then you go from there to sitting in a classroom in Queens, New York, Forest Hills in high school, and
probably you see people kissing around.
People are being intimate with each other. People are dressed in ways that you haven't even sat in the same room as a girl ever before, and now she's sitting next to you. And so
but
it
did
was
that create a little bit of excitement for you, or was it like
extreme anxiety,
anxiety?
shock. Like I don't. It wasn't just excitement. I don't know what to do with this.
Oh, we're not
like,
excited.
am I in sin just being here? Am I, because your programming is, that's wrong, right? Then you come and then, is all of this haram? And then, did you learn like the non-believer is najas? Yeah. And so I'm in the bell rings and you're going from one class to the other and you're going up the stairs and you're holding the railing. You're like, but the najas people touch this railing. Should I even touch this railing? These were the thoughts in my head, I remember at the time, right? Because there was a certain kind of wiring that was done while I was there, and that shapes your worldview, and you start trying to make sense of the world around you. And so there was that shock for maybe the first couple of months, and then you start thinking, I feel like an outsider. I don't feel like I belong here. And then there's a human need to want to belong. So the next thing is, how do I belong? Well, I can't speak like them. I don't even speak their language. Maybe I can try to look like them a little bit. So you start copying somebody else's way of clothing. It's not yours, but at least you won't be the one weird one standing out. You'll blend in. So your first goal is to be invisible, right? So that you don't get picked on, because in American school you got picked on quite badly.
Did you get picked on when you first came in?
I got picked on pretty hard. I got almost mugged the second day of school. I got picked on every day. But luckily it wasn't that traumatic, because my English was so bad I didn't know what they were saying. I just know they're laughing.
It's easy.
It was a little bit better. But then eventually I picked up some vocabulary. I was like, oh my God, that's really mean. And then, the kids were there. I was a scrawny kid. And these were big, man. This guy's like, you're like, you could pick up my dad, bro. And so you can't even be like, hey, you can't say that.
You'd be in bigger trouble.
Yeah. So it was physically intimidating. It was culturally intimidating. It was language intimidation. It was a sense of inferiority, not belonging, right? And so the first desire is to just blend in. And the second desire is to become likable. Because everybody else has friends. Because in Saudi and in the Muslim world, because of the uniform culture and because of certain aspects in the culture, there's almost like you could become friends with anybody. You could just be in the playground at school and walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, you want to be friends?" They go, "Yeah, let's go." You know, it's not a complicated thing. They're not sizing you up or whatever. We're both wearing the same uniform. We both have the same chocolate milk stain on our shirt. Like it's okay, you know. But in America, it wasn't like that. It was you were dressed by the kind of shoes you were judged by the kind of shoes you're wearing, the brand of jeans you're wearing, what kind of backpack you got, you know, with your accent, your height, your appearance, your skin tone, your everything was being judged. Everything was being judged, right? So you feel like you have to dress and talk and walk and act in a way
That is normal.
that will be normal. So in other words, I'm not free to dress how I want. I need to dress in a bullying-free way. I have to speak in a bully-free way. I have to act in a bully-free way. I have to walk in a bully-free way. And the crazy thing is, all they talked about was freedom. And all I experienced was prison, right? Freedom from what? What are you free from? You're all imprisoned. And it wasn't just me. It was actually even other kids that they had to fit in some sort of a mold, right? I think things are changing now quite a bit because of social media. Because now you can live in your basement your whole life and still be very popular, right? It's a crazy world now.
Yeah.
But then you actually had to engage and interact with people and be acceptable by people outside, right? There are people now that are like, with Comic-Con and like game tournaments and whatever, right? There are people that are world champions at Tekken or whatever else, and they may be the most antisocial. Like nobody knows you, nobody likes you because you sit and eat Cheetos all day and do this.
Yeah.
But you're a celebrity. You got like millions of followers. This was unheard of
Back then. Yeah.
back then. You had to be cool to be cool, right? Right? Yeah. And the nerd was the nerd. They weren't cool, but now everybody gets to be cool, right? Which in one sense is actually a good thing. In one sense, it's liberating, right? Because everybody has a community now. All the rejects can have their reject community, right? Like, they could do that, right? So, but it wasn't like
have
that.
a global
then.
audience also, right?
Yeah,
Like you can have like streaming from US and
Yeah.
like goes all the way
exactly,
to like, different,
exactly.
yeah.
So it has its negatives. It has some positives. But so that was a big part of my kind of formidable years, the teenage years, and then the desire to be likable, the desire to be the desire to be popular never came in my head because I understood immediately that there's a hierarchy in society, and you have to look a certain way and have a certain amount of money and have a certain kind of clothes to be in the popular category, C, and then there's people even above that are in B, and then there's A. That's like that's too far away. That's Jannah. You got to know your limits. I'm probably gonna at most reach over here D plus or somewhere. So you just kind of know your rank. It's a rank society, right? And you accept your place in the world, right? It's kind of like that Lord of the Flies kind of thing, right? There's a hierarchy that's developed, and I accepted that subconsciously, and I lived by it until a series of events led me to Islam. It's a conscious Islam. And I think the most powerful thing that I found in conscious Islam was this direct connection of God, direct ability to communicate with God, and God communicating with you makes you a VIP. Because you're important enough that God would speak directly to you. And you're important enough that you get to speak directly to God. Right? So who's more important than Allah? When you have to talk to someone important, you have to get an appointment.
Yeah.
When you have to talk to someone important, you better find people who know people who know people who can finally get you in the room. And then they will make time for you when they have time. But Allah has time for you whenever you turn to Him. And He responds immediately. He's never too busy for you or too important for you. It's a very empowering thing. And what it did for me at the time is, if He thinks I'm important and I have direct access to Him, why do I care what anybody else, whether anybody else thinks I'm important or cool or acceptable or weird? Why do I care? It freed me from all of it in one go. And then when I started praying, I committed to prayer 5 times. I was still in high school, last year of my high school, and then early year of college. Actually, first year of college. And sometimes it's Dhuhr time in the middle of 5th Avenue and 35th Street in New York City. It's the Dhuhr time. So I just go to the side of the curb and I start making salah. The old me would have been like, what are you doing? People are watching you. What's going on with you? Like, and now this new extremist me was like, no, Allah sees. That's all that matters. I'm just going to pray. People walk by and say, move over, Muhammad. That happened. Right? I was just keep praying. And I didn't know much about Islam then, but it seemed like prayer was an act of rebellion.
Or like an escape.
No, not an escape, a rebellion.
Rebellion.
What do I mean by that? The culture, the society wants me to act a certain way, and loyalty to Allah meant rebelling against everyone else. Right? And you felt scared. Praying for me, I felt scared, I felt nervous, and I felt really brave at the same time. It was like a thing. I would mentally prepare myself to start praying because I was working and going to college. There's no like you just going to a masjid. I'm praying in the stairwell, praying in Central Park, praying in like just anywhere. Everybody could see. You're exposed. And you're praying, right? And it was terrifying, but it was also really cool. It was really cool. It was a weird confidence builder.
Like your own superpower.
Yeah, it was. And I didn't even know what I was saying in the prayer, right? And but I thought it was. That's why I never saw prayer as an obligation. I saw prayer as a liberation. Early on, I wasn't even philosophically inclined yet. But it's something I saw in the prayer that like, it kept reminding me of how enslaved I used to be mentally, and how freeing this is. So it just keeps reminding me, you've been freed. You've been free. Your servitude to Allah has freed you from His creation. Right?
Looking back now, right, Sheikh, like, do you think that the challenges of your childhood were preparing you for something later when you connect back the dots, right? Or did they feel meaningless at the time? Like your story from how school was like, the change. And, you know, where did you find the spark?
You know, hindsight is 20/20. I think every event was significant.
Yeah.
And every event I can remember is significant in some way or the other. Like the nomad thing allowed me to be able to adapt to changing environments. I mean, the only thing I ever knew in my young adult life was New York, and I packed my bags and moved to Texas. Texas ain't New York, right? But I was okay, you know? And so that, you know, parts of my childhood, they shaped parts of life even now. Friends shaped a lot of my worldview, right? You said, you know, what was the change? You know, change comes in like stages. Yeah. Right? Something small changes. Then something else changes, then something else changes, then something else changes. So there's like great change is a function of
process.
Small
incremental
changes. And so like even starting to pray was a significant change. Then because of the prayer, it led me to want to go to the masjid. Another significant change. Because of going to masjid, I came into contact with people that I would have never shared a room with in my life. Another significant change. Because of them, I started attending halaqas and discussions that I would never have been exposed to, that started changing my perspective on everything. Another change. So like one change led to another, led to another, led to another. But the common denominator is every change brings you into contact with special people. And that person has a role of opening a door for you that you couldn't have opened yourself, right? So people are the most powerful rizq Allah has given us. People, right? So like, you know, when people ask me, I travel all over the world, I'm a terrible tourist. I'm just really bad. Like if I had to go somewhere and do an event or whatever, I would know the airport and then the hotel and then the hall and then the hotel And then the airport. What was it? Did you see? Did you see the tower? Did you see this? Did you go there? Did you go there? I was like, nah, bro. I got nothing for
I
you.
saw the hotel bathroom.
Yeah, I saw the bathroom. The lobby was okay. The line was short. You know. And the reason for that is, after a while, the whole world, the outside world, the material world, just starts looking the same. How many busy, restaurant streets you're gonna walk by until you say, yeah, okay, yeah. But you know what's always new and always special? Meeting people.
Yeah.
You learn from meeting.
You learn from it. Because at some point, every mall is the same. At some point, every skyscraper is the same. At some point, every beach is the same. Right? I love going to the beach not as a tourist thing, but just to reflect. Right? It's a beautiful place to be. But people, man, the thing that became most memorable to me about anywhere I went wasn't where I was, but who I was with. Right? So that was, it's something that the early years, I think, transformed quite a bit in me. And even now, I value the company of people a lot. And people get weirded out because if I meet someone, it's almost like I start interviewing them. So what do you do? Not the shallow questions. What do you do? And I realized something. Most people don't know how to have good conversation. I've spoken to maybe 200 people on one-on-one conversations since I got here in a week. You know what everybody asks? When did you get here? How long you here? When did you get here? How long you here? When did you get here? How long you here? Next guy's coming. I know it's coming.
I don't think I said.
Now the question then to me is, what are you going to do with that information? I'm not trying to be mean, but you can get through the pleasantries. Are you rested? But you could take those few moments and say things like, so what's been the most exciting part of your trip so far? What are you looking forward to? Right? And, and I want to know, hey, you do this. What was the toughest part of your week? What was the toughest part of your year? What was the biggest challenge you overcame? How did you overcome that? Every time when I sit in a taxi and I'm not on a call, I start talking to the taxi driver. How long have you been doing this? 6 months. What's the craziest thing that's happened in 6 months, bro? Tell me. He goes, you don't want to know. No, I really want to know. Oh yeah, this guy, he was drunk. He started throwing punches. And I had to, you get the coolest stories.
Yeah.
Right? The way to get people to open up, the way to get people to have meaningful conversation and learn from their experiences, right? It's the coolest thing ever. Like some of the most profound conversations I've ever had in my life have been with taxi drivers. They got life wisdom, man. They're deep. That guy is deep.
Especially after 12, right?
Wow. One taxi driver. No, that's not deep. That's high. One taxi driver, I'm driving with him. We just start talking. And I was like, you've been here a long time, huh? He goes, yeah, I've been away from home a lot. He was in a foreign country. He goes, so how does this thing work? Like, how money's good? He goes, yeah, it's good. I get cash. Most of the time I get cash. And my owner, the taxi owner, I have to give him this %, but I could lie about it. He said I could lie about it. So I was like, so do you lie about it? He goes, no, I don't lie about it. I said, why not? Why don't you lie about it? He goes, listen, I could save that money, right? I owe him 70. I could tell him I only made this much, so I give him 50. I keep that $20. I know the way Allah is, that $20 is leaving in from my pocket one way or the other. Either if I give it to him, or I'm going to have to go to a doctor and give it to him because I'm going to get a bacterial infection, or my kid's going to get sick, or the tire's going to pop. That Allah will get that money out of me because it wasn't mine. So I'd rather just take it the easy way and just give it to the person. I was like, that's deep, bro.
Yeah.
That's deep. What an amazing perspective.
Yeah, that's true.
SubhanAllah. So that's my travel formula.
Okay, Sheikh. In one of your previous interview, you said you weren't necessarily the best role model in college. So you had your night outs and things like that with your friends. So during this chapter, what was happening internally during that phase that people would be shocked to know?
What was happening internally? I think what was happening internally was I felt I'm finally,
Blending in?
one, I was blending in. I was starting to get popular. And my parents left.
Oh.
So now
Freedom.
there's no one who can question what I'm doing either. Right? So there was this, I don't know how to handle this freedom thing. I could do whatever I want. The only restraint on me was I wasn't rich. I didn't have any money. So I had to work like full time and go to school full time. So whatever free time I had left, I wanted to be as free as I possibly can be because that's all I got. Everything else has been taken up by work and education, right? So there was this urge to make the most of the freedom. And even when I tried to do that, the funny thing is when I tried to do that, I distinctly, sometimes you don't remember events or you don't remember entire conversations. You remember how you felt.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
I remember the feelings, the dark feeling you get.
Hollow?
Dark, like, I don't want to look in I don't even want to make eye contact with myself in a reflection. Feeling you get. That you're, it's not even shame. It's like disgust with yourself. And it's hard to put in words. But you get it every time. Every single time. And it's a feeling that I didn't want to have in my life. It didn't feel right. One of the things that Allah protected me from, that I don't think many people are protected from when they're exploring, is one time I was at a friend's house, non-Muslim. We were about to go to a party together. And of course, my parents didn't know. They were still with me. This is back in high school. So I go to this guy's house. He's non-Muslim. And we're sitting in his living room. His mom comes. He goes, "Well, you guys are going. Your high school's almost over. You guys are old enough. Here, have a beer."
Oh, the parents gave the
The
beer.
parent gives the beer. Super liberal, right? They're like, "You're old. You're not driving. It's okay. You should, I was like, "No, thanks. I don't want beer." And I wasn't religious at all. This had nothing to do with, or my parents wouldn't find out or this, none of that. It's like, "No, thanks." So she said, "Why not?" And she said, "I have some friends who drink." I told her, "I have some friends who drink, and I know what they're like when they drink. And it feels like they lost a part of their mind. Like they're not fully themselves." And I told her, "I really like my mind. I don't want to lose any part of it, even for a little bit. I love my thoughts. I love my brain, and I don't want to escape it. It seems like they're trying to escape their mind, right?" She goes, "Okay, suit yourself." She double shotted. But it was there. The offer was there, right?
But somehow
But
protected.
it didn't appeal to me because it was actually off-putting to me that you get to not be a thinker, right? Even though I wasn't an intellectual or anything, but that sense was in me. And it's remarkable to me that years later I learned the word khamr. Khamr in the Quran, alcohol. It's the word khamr.
Khamr.
And khamr actually means for the head to be covered. Literally. For the head to be covered.
For your mind to be
Exactly.
protected, sort of.
But no, that it takes over, it covers your mind. Alcohol hovers over your mind.
Cloudy.
Blocks your thoughts. Yeah.
Yep.
SubhanAllah.
Okay, Sheikh, a lot of people don't know that you used to struggle with anger during your teenage days. So, and she also shared that for a brief moment that you were also actually an atheist before.
Yep.
So, where does shedding the anger and loss of identity came from the first place?
One, from fitting in. Two, from going from Islam that was practiced in Saudi. Everybody's praying. You're actually obligated to pray even in school, in Jama'ah.
In Saudi?
In Saudi. I get in trouble if you don't. We used to set up the sufuf in the playground. That was part of the job.
Wow.
And you had to do it. It was like, you're going to get
Punishment if
you don't. And you'll get a physical punishment if your teacher found out you were messing around during salah. Or you were running around. You came to the prayer late. It wasn't pretty. We were terrified of our teachers. So you go from that. And even though you practice the religion, you never question it. to come to a society where you question everything. Why should I do it? Here, students aren't listening to the teacher. Kids aren't listening to their parents. My friends are saying, they come from home like, man, Frank's being stupid today. I was like, who's Frank?
Your father?
Your dad? You call him Frank? He goes, yeah, that's his name. What do you want me to call him? And you said he's being stupid? Do you not value your life? Like there's no regard for anything, right? And then starts rubbing off on you. Why do I have to pray? Why do I have to dress like this? Why can't I have these friends? Why can't I use this word? Why not? I'm a free person. Because I'm gonna tell you, the drug that America was selling its youth was freedom. I'm free to be vile. I'm free to be disgusting. I'm free to be, angry. I'm free to punch you in the face. I'm free, right? And it starts rubbing on you. Why do I have to pray? Why do I have to go to salah? Why do I have to follow this religion? What's the reason? And it's not coming from some philosophical reading and you realize that your religion is in conflict with science or with, you're just being rebellious.
Being young and rebellious.
Be just, defiance. So a lot of, in a sense, my atheism wasn't intellectual at first. It was just defiance. Why should I? Why should I care? Nobody else around. The coolest people around me are the ones who care the least. Because the coolest people in school say whatever the most.
Yeah.
And they're not moved by anything. They're unimpressed with everything. Like, why should I be impressed with something? Why should I be moved by something? I'm too cool to be impacted, right? So that was the sort of the atheist, maybe psychological mechanics. It didn't last. It didn't last because it wasn't philosophical in nature.
It was very surface level.
It was surface level. It was
shallow.
It made me assume that Islam is really just a bunch of rituals that they made sense over there. They don't make sense over here. So why follow it? And then they justified using Allah or using God. So okay, that's the story they tell themselves. Whatever. I didn't really look into the matter, right?
Yeah.
Until certain events in my life kind of jolted me in a different direction.
Because you mentioned that you didn't become religious, but you became curious. But what was the jolting moment that actually made?
The jolting moment. I've talked about it in different occasions, but it's I snuck out of the house because in New York we had a house that had a basement.
Yeah.
And I stayed in the basement, and the basement had its own exit. Ooh,
Heaven.
I used to oil that door really well, so there's no. It's like it's an alarm by itself, bro. Like, what's the point, And then when you go out, you're in the backyard, but the backyard has a gate, and the gate when you open it, and you just like that's, come on. So if I'm gonna sneak out, like. Even during the day, I'll go and open the gate and leave a little brick there or something, so that when I pre-plan, bro, pre-plan. I won't even put my shoes on. I'll go barefoot so I can tippy toe until I get way outside of the street. Then I'll get around then I'll put my shoes on. It was planned, I got out, had a fun old time with my friends. They all got drunk. I didn't. Same formula, right? Come back at like 2:30, 3 in the morning and sneak back in. Perfect execution. Like a flawless victory. Yeah.
To the detail.
To the detail. And then I go to sleep. And I go to sleep very happy. I remember being very happy. I go to sleep and I see this dream of me in my own grave. And my head has been turned into a lizard's head. And there's fire coming out of both sides, like those jacuzzi faucets? There's fire pouring out like water does. And there's somebody above that's saying, this is because you don't pray. That's all I saw. I woke up. I remember my face was just like running with tears. I was in shock, hyperventilating. I go and I make whatever I remember of wudu. And then I still remember there are 5 prayers. I didn't exactly remember how many rak'ah is in each prayer. Because
you forgot already by then.
It had been a while. I remember Jummah because my dad, every time there was a Friday off from school, he would take me to Jummah. But other than that, I didn't remember. So I was like, there's 5 prayers. I got to make up the prayers. So I make up some version of Isha and another version of Maghrib. And I'm doing it in reverse. Right? So Isha, Maghrib, Asr, Fajr. And then I get to the Fajr, my version of it. And I'm in Sajda and I'm just crying. I can't stop crying. And I woke up like that. Then the next morning I woke up like that. It was Friday night. So nobody came to wake me up for school and everybody had a late morning. So nobody's around. I wake up and I'm like, what just happened? You know? And one thing I knew that day, I got to pray. I got to figure out what time prayers are and how to pray again and stuff. So I wanted to, and this is maybe the last week of high school. This is prom week of high school. This is
So
when
you're
this
probably
happened.
like 16, 17?
Yeah. And it's 2 months from then, 60 days from that day, my parents were leaving America. Right? Now I think back about that. If that didn't happen, and my parents left America, and I had a job by then, and I was going to pay my own rent, and I was going to go to college. No parental supervision. Basically do whatever the hell you want, for lack of better words. And you're in New York City. Right? Allah saved me with that terrible dream. From myself. He saved me from myself. That was
His
big.
plan.
That was big. And so that was one very heavy experience. There are other experiences that I'll never talk about
Why?
because they're mine. Some things you got to keep to yourself.
Yeah, I understand.
But
I think that's
You know.
quite major enough.
yeah, I'll tell you one. I won't tell you about the experience. I'll tell you around the experience. Yeah. So that transformation happened, but it wasn't like a one-time. Now I'm a committed Muslim thing. It started wearing off. Right. I started praying again, and learning and all of that stuff, and then I started slipping little by little. And I still remember this one time. I kid you not. I could almost hear shaitan laughing.
Shaitan laughing?
Yeah, I could almost hear it.
Oh.
When you
And I
sleep
was
back.
alone at work. I had a job. I was alone at work, and I was missing the prayer on purpose. I could almost hear like
Shaitan laughing.
a laugh, and I could tell there's something evil that's laughing. I was like, I'm gonna pray. That scared me. I was like, someone's winning, and they're happy that I'm doing this. You know.
Oh.
And so the prayer was, in a sense, a savior for myself. And then from that, Allah opened many other doors. The most amazing friends that introduced me to the most amazing people, one of whom eventually became, through someone who knows someone who knows someone, I met my Arabic teacher, my Quran teacher. I got exposed to different lines of Islamic thought. And became, I just started absorbing what was coming my way. I couldn't afford to be a full-time student of Islam because I had to pay my own bills. My parents weren't supporting me. They're not coming from a wealthy background, right? My dad got transferred back to Pakistan. So I stayed back in New York. My sister stayed in Jersey, my older sister.
So you stayed by yourself by then?
Yeah. I rented with a friend. But basically on my own, right? And Allah just opened doors to learning for me in very unconventional ways. And generally, I said this in previous talks. I was never a good student, really.
Yep.
Like I struggled in studies. I zoned out a lot. I found hard to come. Maybe some kind of ADHD. I don't know. But when it came to Arabic studies, Quran studies, for some reason my brain was just on fire. I couldn't believe myself. I was like, wow, not that dumb. You know? So
Yeah. And I heard you stumbled upon Arabic, right? Yeah. Maybe you can share us a bit about that story. And it also started with your friend Omar, who brought you to the Muslim centers in
Shout
Queens.
out Omar Beg.
Yeah.
Long Island in the house. Okay. He's still there.
Yeah. So what's the story behind that?
So Omar introduced me to the masjid scene again, and introduced me to good company, the MSA, the Muslim Students Association. Introduced me to the Muslim Center of New York, which is in Flushing, Queens. It's still a center, and mashallah, growing even now. And introduced me to a Ramadan program that was going to happen in the Muslim Center, which was like a all-month-long Taraweeh plus the Quran in translation.
Yep.
So I was curious, so I went, and then I ended up staying for the whole thing with Dr. Abdul Samir, and I was so moved by the Quran because by then I was also philosophical because I was studying philosophy in college by then, and he was just untying every one of my philosophical knots without knowing it. And he was a dentist by profession. He's not a philosophy guy.
Wow.
He didn't even know that the Quran's undoing my philosophical dilemmas. And at the end, famously, I went and told him, I want to do what you do. And he said, okay, learn Arabic. He didn't give me a whole long list. He said, okay, learn Arabic. Because there's a lot more to do.
Yeah.
But he knows if this kid's serious, then he'll just take the first step and then ask for the next one.
Yeah.
He's not going to say, okay, and then what? And then what? And then what? Then you ain't going to do nothing. Right? So I showed up. He said, okay, I said, where do I learn Arabic? He goes, I'm teaching a class next week. Okay, I'll be there. So I went. I would go to college, I go to work, I go to his class.
Would you say that is also part of your, the big turning point of your life as well?
That's one
to
of the
really
turning
go
points.
deep
Yeah,
into
that Ramadan was my first exposure, thoughtful exposure to the Quran. And that made me realize that Arabic is not something I want to do because I'm inspired. It's a necessity for me. I have to have it. I have to have it. I don't care about anybody else. I have to have it. And the guys around me, they were my friends who were also religious, many of them. They were going to this activity, this program, this event, this speech, this speaker, There's lots of speakers out there, lots of great things happening. I was like, no, I'm just going to study Arabic, guys. Because I could learn all that. I could sit in all those lectures, and at the end of those 50 lectures I sit in a year, I won't remember much. But if I do this, then I can maybe understand Surah Al-Baqarah. Then I can work on Ali Imran. Then I can work on Nisa. Then I can work on Ma'idah. I have a plan. It was like a pathway, right? So I took that very seriously, and that helped me quite a bit.
You share with all the translation nowadays and classes, videos that you do as well. Do you recommend as well, like for us, so that we want to understand Quran? Is it necessary for us to really understand Arabic as well?
Not right now.
Not right now.
No, not like when someone comes to me and says, I want to understand the Quran better, I say, do what I did. Get a taste of the Quran first. You don't know why if I told you, yes, you should learn Arabic, you're going to start learning, and in 3 days you'll quit.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
Let's just be real. That's not for you right now. You know what's for you right now? You need to be exposed to why you should be learning it. And it's not me telling you it's really important, or Allah gave the Quran in Arabic, or just none of that.
Yeah.
Just listen to the Quran. Listen to what the Quran is saying. And I'll boldly say here, there's a difference between reading the Quran in translation and listening to the Quran in a dars.
In
a lecture.
In lecture, okay.
And not a lecture where you're going in too much detail, but even like slightly more than translation. When you're reading the Quran in translation, you may find yourself confused, you may find yourself disconnected, you may find yourself even distracted. And you have the hardest time, one, you're having a hard time understanding exactly what's being said here, and two, how does that relate to me? So you're just going to step back and say, I don't know if this is for me. That's the challenge of Quran in translation, for many, many people. If you, like, let's say there was first page of Baqarah, would take you 5 minutes to, or not even, it would take you 2 minutes to read, right? Thoughtfully read. I would speak about the first page of Baqarah. It might take me 10 minutes to explain. Briefly.
Yeah.
I'd rather you did those 10 minutes than those 2 minutes of reading. Why? Because now you're hearing not the Quran as a text, you're engaging the Quran as a conversation. And the first exposure I want for you is to feel like the Quran is a conversation. You know, in media studies, here we are sitting in a podcast.
Yep.
Imagine a transcript of this podcast. And then imagine listening to this podcast. What is more likely to be consumed?
Listening.
Listening.
And even if it was the most interesting podcast and you edited it and you cut out extra pieces, whatever, and it was still just an hour and a half, could be a few hundred pages, you turned it into 20 pages, 10 pages. Still, what's more likely? What are you going to listen? What are you going to expose? What are you going to be impacted by more? Listening.
Yeah.
You heard the most amazing khutbah. Yeah? Then you decided to take notes on it, summarize it, and turn it into a PDF. Same impact or no?
No.
When human beings speak to each other from the heart, there's something that more than understanding that happens. Impact happens. My first exposure to the Quran was someone speaking about the Quran, not reading the translation. And that didn't just give me meaning, it gave me impact. The conversation about whether or not I should learn Arabic is not even the conversation right now. The conversation is, I want to feel the Quran impact me. And you can feel that from someone else who it's impacted. Yeah? That's why I recommend to students, do my concise commentary. On Bayyinah TV, you said you got the 7-day trial.
Yep.
There's, under Quran, there's something called concise commentary, which means I went through the entire Quran in less than, it's about 250 hours altogether, but it's the entire Quran. Just do 20 minutes a day. You're just listening. You're not even taking notes. You're driving and you're listening. You're cooking and you're listening. You're on the treadmill and you're listening. Just 20 minutes a day, not even more. And you're just going. And what's happening? My point isn't you're going to learn Quran. My point is you're going to hear the Quran as a conversation. You won't get that feeling when you're reading the Quran as a translated text. Some people can still get that, but most people won't. Most people, and the first generation of people that were so impacted by the Quran, they changed the whole world, heard the Quran with their ears, not their eyes. They didn't expose it. They weren't exposed to text. They were exposed to something to hear. The problem with us is when we hear the Quran, we don't hear what it's saying. We hear its beautiful sounds, right?
True.
So you need the additional help. To me, the additional help, instead of being the print form, needs to be the audible or the video form, which is why I created Bayyinah TV.
Yep.
Right? There's a bajillion translations out there. Why not just do that? And I don't even like the idea of, they used to have these audio translations of the Quran where the author, the voice actor is reading the translation, right? Wal asri innal insana lafi khusr. I swear by time that every human being shall be doomed to loss. Save those who believe and do righteous deeds.
Understand?
For
those that doesn't know
grasp.
Bayyinah TV,
when you listen to that, even if you understand it, even if you get over the fact that it sounds like Lord of the Rings, even if you get over that fact, right?
understand?
Are you going to be impacted by that?
Yeah,
It's hard because you're not hearing it in language that
It's familiar.
you can be familiar with,
Yeah.
right? And the intonations aren't there. It's a flat reading. So that to me is your first objective, and I'm guaranteeing you, once you go through that at least once, the whole Quran doesn't make you an expert. Concise. Once you do that, you're not going to ask, should I learn Arabic or not?
Yeah.
You're going to be a maniac, and you will learn so fast.
Understand.
It will shock you.
I want to share a bit as well, because I've had this spur moments where because I read Yasin then I'm like, I have this spur curiosity moment, like, hey, what does this surah really represent? What I'm reading every day, right? So I start going in and read the translation, and I got lost halfway, and then I got caught up doing other stuff.
You go.
And then I never revisit again. And then I'll have it again. And now I have it one more time because I saw your video saying that it's like a conversation. So I'm really, really excited to actually try it and see whether...
Very cool.
You know what I mean?
Very cool. You can even start from Yasin if you want. Just go to the Yasin section and start listening.
It brings me to my next question, right, Sheikh? And also for the viewers out there, if you guys don't know, Bayyinah TV is a Netflix for Quran, which we'll put inside the link down below as well. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know. But if you don't know, for the viewers out there. So when Sheikh started learning about the Quran the first time, what would Sheikh say? I think you kind of answered it, Sheikh, just now, but just to bring it again, were the key drivers to persistently wanting to understand the Quran the best way possible, like how I said, the one that actually move and impact.
And what'll keep you going? Consistency is the problem, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
correct.
let me tell you something. If you listen to a podcast you really like, do you have to ask, how do I stay consistently following this podcast?
Not really.
Why not? Why not?
Because it's interesting.
Because you got hooked.
And you learn. Yeah.
You got hooked. You got something out of it. You're like,
Right.
yo, this was good. I want to watch it again. Nobody says, how do I consistently sign up for a UFC fight night?
How do I constantly watch football?
True.
Nobody says that. Why? Because it got you
Value.
interested. You saw some value in it. It did something in your brain and in your heart that like, whoa, this was amazing. I want to do that again.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is once you get like a couple of pages into Quran, it's not going to be, oh my God, I got to listen to the next one. What happened next? What happened next?
That's why the
What more
conversation
is
is
there?
important.
What
right?
more is there? Yeah. And then you just want to keep going with this.
Yeah.
Now, once you start, look, for a year, don't think of Quran as a book. Think of Quran as God talking to you. And that means he's having a conversation with you, which means you have a chance to have a conversation with him based on the conversation he's having with you. Right now, most of your conversations with him are based on what you're going through, not based on what he's saying, right? Ya Allah, I'm really having trouble with the business. Help me out. Ya Allah, I don't know what to do with this situation. Ya Allah, I'm confused. Why is she always angry? Etc. Whatever it is for you, right? And don't hide your tears with your laughter. Okay, I'm kidding. But about you're reading Quran. And you're with the awareness, or you're listening to Quran with the awareness that it's Allah speaking to you. Allah is telling you something. Like you know how I'm talking to you, you're responding. You're talking to me, I'm responding. We're bouncing off each other. Imagine that with God. Just imagine that with God. That's what we want people to experience. That's what I experienced. I felt sitting there in that room, God is talking to me. Right? And I want that. Man, people are missing out on this feeling. Even though there's hundreds of translations out there, they're missing out on this feeling. The Muslim needs to feel the Quran. Once you can feel it, man, that's it. You don't even need to know, how do I stay consistent? All that disappears.
Understand.
Okay, Sheikh. We're going to take a short break. And after this, we're going to go deeper into the rise of Bayyinah. And we want to Bayyinah, and we want to understand also what is your vision in Bayyinah. Alright, so catch you guys after the break.
See you guys in a bit.
Alright, welcome back to Apa Cerita.
Welcome back.
Alright, Sheikh, you've shared with us a lot about your background, and then I think we've learned a lot about sometimes when people talk to scholars and people who are, like share and stuff like that, they think like their journey has always been all good, all white. But actually, as a human being, you go through different kind of experience that shape you to be who you are today, right? So thank you so much also for opening up.
Before you guys go on, I just want to point out, I'm not a sheikh.
No?
At the most, I got to the milkshake level. Not a sheikh, not a scholar. I'm an enthusiastic Quran student, researcher. I work with scholars. I work with sheikhs. I've never been clergy per se, or an imam or things like that. People assume that about me.
Yeah, we understand.
I'm just an enthusiastic Quran studies activist. That's what I am. I don't qualify. I'm not any delusions. I have no delusions of being anything more than that. And I personally don't want to be that. And I also think that the assumptions about people that talk about our deen or learn it and teach it and share it, yeah, they should hold themselves to a high standard. But in the end, we're all Muslim and we're all flawed and we're all human. And when we start creating like a Pope-like figure image of religious leaders, then we almost
dehumanize them.
Yeah, in a sense, we turn them into angels instead of humans. The problem is, if you turn someone into an angel and then you find out they're human, then you're going to turn them into the devil. Right? So rather just keep them human. So you can be weird, you can be normal, and they can be normal. And this other thing that happens is with religious leaders, you notice I'm wearing these non-religious clothes. Astaghfirullah al-azim, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, right? You and I are both dressed like, the same fasiq clothing, etc. Right? Like, the reason for that is also, it's deliberate. It's deliberate. There's nothing wrong with the clothes I'm wearing. These clothes don't make me less Islamic or more Islamic. So long as clothes are permissible, they're clothes.
Yep.
So this idea that a religious person has a certain kind of uniform and they have to project a certain kind of image, I reject this notion. I don't think Islam came with the clergy concept. I don't think Islam came to distinguish between the public and the scholar by some kind of outwardly facade. Or they had the scholar is distinguished by their knowledge, their contribution, their mind. They're not distinguished by a turban. They're not distinguished by a special kind of thobe or whatever. What makes them special is
Their knowledge.
their knowledge, their contribution, their service, right? And what we did then is we made the appearance. This is not a criticism of any scholar or any. But what we did as a society is we made that stuff so important, and then they should talk a certain way. I should sit like this and say, "Inna alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh." And you should be like, Sheikh, I'd like to ask you one more question. So this guy, you assume that even when they go home, they say to their wife, "I would like to have a hot chocolate with cinnamon."
Okay. I was expecting different things.
This dude's also a normal guy, but you're forcing him to act like that. He doesn't act like that normally. And when I meet guys like that, I met some guys that are younger than me. They're ulama, they're sheikhs, right? Man, I troll them so hard when I'm alone. Like, look how mashallah, sheikhna, kayf halukum? And I say, "Oh, I'm very good, alhamdulillah." Very good. Am I keeping up? Yeah. And I say, "Hey, can we switch it off? Turn it off?" Okay. And then they become normal, right?
Yeah.
So, I there are settings where you should be formal. There are teachers that I'm formal with. There are, elders that I'm formal with. But, the reverence culture, like you're just a holy person just walked in. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm in the blessed presence of... You're not. You're in the presence of another human being. There's so much noor on your face. No, that's Vaseline. It's just bouncing off of the light. It's not noor on my face.
They call it Cahaya Nur.
That stuff bothers me because it's against the spirit of the Quran. The Quran was giving us a very different approach. Be normal people. Don't be weirdos. Just be with everybody. How is it that the Prophet ﷺ used to sit there and reports say when new people walked in, they wouldn't know which one's the Prophet. But today, you walked in, you'd know which one's the Sheikh. Right? I think there's a disparity here. Something's going on.
Okay, Sheikh. So, in your previous interviews and lectures, Sheikh mentioned that you started off this platform, Bayyinah Institute, because of students asking for more classes where you even had students traveling from far just to learn from you. So maybe Sheikh can paint us a picture on how you and your partner started the conversation of Bayyinah in the first place.
When I first became passionate about learning, I realized that the best way I can keep what I've learned is by teaching it. So I started teaching it to my friends, family, whoever I could find. Whoever I could just grab somebody off the street, sit them in the living room, start teaching them. Just teaching. I had Hindu friends in college. They'd walk into the MSA room. I'm teaching 2 people Arabic, and they're like, I was teaching stupid words, phrases like the book of the boy and the pen of the child, etc. And I'm playing table tennis with the Hindu guys, like, "Hey, book of the boy, book of the boy, book of the boy." It became a joke on campus. But I wanted to keep teaching. And I at the same time, I was working in tech. I had a full-time job since I was 17, right? At least 40 hours a week I've worked since I was 17. And then I got into the design space, and I was fairly good at it. So even I paid my way through college because I had a tech job in the city. So my college was on 23rd Street and my job was on 21st Street.
Oh, very nearby, 2 streets away.
Oh, 2 streets with 4 avenues, which is a hijrah. Avenues are big, right? So, but I could walk it, right? So I would go to work, take a break, take a class, come back to work, go to break, take a class. I had this schedule. My boss worked it out with me. And I loved my job, but then I taught a little bit and I loved teaching. I was like, why can't that be my job? Right? And as much as I loved tech, I wanted to figure out a way of making that my full-time occupation because I really enjoyed teaching. And I felt like people, and how do I know I enjoy teaching? People I was teaching were really enjoying learning. Like it was proof of concept. So I started it off and I started teaching courses and I experimented with a couple of courses in a masjid in Long Island and it took off. It was huge. And I was like, this thing has legs. I think we need to turn this into something. So at the time I had this is right before I had my first child. My first daughter, her name is Husna. So I called it Husna Learning Foundation. And I created this thing and I wanted it to be a non-profit entity. So I made a charity entity and registered it in New York and started teaching these courses. And then it was a one-man show kind of thing, right? And
but were you making money and also can you stop your work by
I
then?
couldn't stop my work yet.
You were still doing both?
I was still doing both. And then I met a guy at the masjid who was like he was a volunteer. He used to be a student also. He was studying accounting. He was like, you're doing a lot. Let me help you. Let me be your accountant. I was like, okay, yeah, I could use the help. And he was a volunteer at the masjid, so trust the guy. So we then I set up a salary for myself from the courses and the fees that were coming in. And I set up a salary for some of the more other teachers I hired who were teaching advanced courses. So things were okay. Then I was like, I think I can leave my job now, right? So I left my job. Now I'm doing this. Set salary. It's not great, but it pays the bills. It's okay. Things are moving forward. And 2 years in, I got a call from one of the other teachers who used to be my teacher also, one of them. But I had hired him to teach more advanced courses. And the accountant was taking care of all the payments and all that stuff, right? So he calls me and goes, hey, I'm really embarrassed to ask you, but can I get paid? I was like, what do you mean can you get paid? He goes, I haven't been paid in 6 months. I said, what do you mean you haven't been paid in 6 months? He goes, I'm really embarrassed to ask you, but I'm going to Hajj and I don't have enough now. I was counting on the money coming in from the course. I haven't been paid. So I was like, and I never used to log into the bank. I was just
teaching.
Right? So I log in for the first time. And there's like $23 in the account. Where's the rest of the money? So I call the accountant. He goes, I'll explain in person.
Then it vanished?
What? You'll explain in person? So he drove and he sat down. And it started.
He came?
Yeah, it started with gas money and it was just a little bit expense here and there, but I got out of hand and I'm really sorry. I'll pay every penny back.
Was it a lot of money?
$10,000, $12,000, $15,000 at the time. For that was enormous back then.
Yeah.
For me. And I have to pay this guy. I don't have money myself. How am I going to pay this guy? For the first time in my life, I had to gather some people from the masjid that I knew and borrow money. I kid you not. It's one of the most debilitating things I've ever done is borrow money that day. And those brothers helped and I paid that guy so he can go to Hajj. And the same accountant guy who was apologizing, the next day he said, I'll come into the bank, I'll take my name off the account. So let's start fixing this. Takes the name off the account. Comes in the next day. So we go in together. He signs off as a signer on the account. We leave. 30 minutes later, he comes back into the account and says, actually put my name back on. I'm the owner. The account says, you can't do that. You're not the signer anymore. They consider it a dispute. They freeze all of my accounts. And then this guy and his family start calling and threatening me. We're going to make sure nobody hires you ever. You won't be able to teach anywhere. Back then, there were still fax machines. This guy sent faxes to masjids across New York. Don't allow Nouman Ali Khan to teach any courses under Husna Learning Foundation. It is our property, blah, blah, blah. This is what he did. Okay, and this was in 2004. Okay,
What?
2004.
The volunteer you met at the masjid.
The volunteer, the wonderful volunteer. Yeah. And this is post 9/11 New York. Okay. If I report this guy right now, they're not going to go after him because they go after any Muslim. There was a witch hunt going on. It was crazy. FBI came to my house at one point. I said, were you planning to, we noticed you took a ferry to Connecticut. Were you planning on using the ferry as a weapon against the United States? I was like, what are you guys talking about? I took a ferry. Yeah, but we just wanted to make sure. Okay, thanks. Right? That was the climate in New York. So there's no way I was more afraid of the authorities being like, breaking the law than I was of this guy. So I went into very deep depression after that. And I started hearing comments about, you should have stayed in technology. You should have never done this. You should,
Within yourself?
Huh?
Within yourself?
No. Family.
Family, okay.
Family, loved ones, etc. I stayed like that for like 3-4 days. And I literally wrote on a piece of paper, I wrote Bayyinah. I drew it. That's the logo of the company right now.
Right now. Oh.
I drew it. And I said, I'm going to start again. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to call it Bayyinah because I want clarity for myself and for everyone. And this time I won't make it a nonprofit. I'll make it an LLC. I'll own it. Everybody's like, don't do it. You're stupid. You don't know what you're doing. Stop. I have a friend. He'll talk to you. You can get a job over here. You have good experience, etc., etc. I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Some close to me even came and said, if you love me, you won't do this.
Was that your wife?
No comment. No comment. If you love me, you won't do this. I said, I love you, but I'll still do it. I did it. I started. Bismillah. There was another, I told you before, I used to stand in the middle of the street and take a leap and pray. That's what it felt like.
Again.
I started Bayyinah. When I started it, because I was a designer, so I designed the website myself, designed the logo myself, designed the materials myself, set up the first course, and hugely successful. First course, second course, third, word of mouth. No online marketing back then. No algorithm.
It was all online? Sure.
No, it was in person. None of it was online.
Oh, yeah.
None of it was online. I'm teaching a course in Long Island. Somebody says, hey, I have a cousin in Jersey. Can you teach it over there? Yeah, connect me to them. Talk to them, send them the SOPs or whatever, set up a course in Jersey. And then, I have a friend in Louisiana. Go over there. And then I have a friend over here. I have a cousin over here. I have an uncle over here. I went through 75 cities across the country.
Wow.
Just seminars, courses.
Was it to big groups or small groups?
Average size, I'd say average size 100. Sometimes 200 to 300. Right? And
this was the early days of Bayyinah.
This was the early, 2005, 2006. And then like 2007, 8, I said, I need to do something more. So I started a podcast, which was basically lectures. I started doing the tafsir of Juz Amma. I did the tafsir of Juz Amma at the local masjid. I started recording it on a rinky-dink recorder that I bought from Best Buy. I started recording it and we put it up on a website.
Was it just audio or
just MP3s?
Just audio.
Just audio, right? And bad quality audio of Surat An-Naba and then Surat Nazi'at and Abasa and 1 hour each. Put them up. And then the website crashed in a month. I was like, what happened? There's 2 terabytes of downloads. I was like, what are you talking about? 2 terabytes of downloads. And then I started getting emails because our email address was on there. Emails from like Indonesia, from Egypt, from Bangladesh, from Pakistan. Can you please continue the series? You stopped at this surah. And, like, what is going on here? From just those uploads I made. There was nothing on YouTube yet. There's just these MP3s. And so that became the impetus for me saying there's more to this than what I'm doing right now, right? And that snowballed eventually into a full campus in Texas, a full-time program. Before that, I created a program called Divine Speech, the miracle of the Quran, basically. I traveled around the world with that. Even brought that to KL actually. If I remember correctly, it was 2016, 2015. I brought it to KL. It was in the Putrajaya Convention Center. Full house for the weekend. Alhamdulillah. Then eventually turned into a book. And then it's being used in universities around the world and stuff. So all of that happened. And the campus happened, things snowballing. And then I realized there's something more. And at the time, Netflix used to be DVDs and a kiosk box where you pay and you get the envelope
Rental.
DVD.
Something like Blockbuster.
And they were competing with Blockbuster, and then they went digital. And when they went digital, Blockbuster was inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. It was done, right? It was quite a story, right? Like Blockbuster went bust. It was just Buster. It was no longer Block. Right? So I was like, that's really smart what they did. I wonder if we could do a Quran Netflix.
Oh, you got it early.
I got it. I got the idea.
quite early.
The enlightenment.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, so how do we do this? Okay, we should have a thing. We need to have a commentary of what would they come in it for? I was like, I think there should be a commentary on the entire Quran available. So anybody wants to go to any surah, they can just watch it and get an explanation. Because I was already validated by the downloads.
Yeah.
Right?
You
So I was
know
like,
there's
okay,
demand.
so there's an audience. Let's capitalize on that. And so some iterations later, I came up with the formula that, Bayyinah TV should be like $11 a month. And standard, and we're not going to change the fee. That was 2011. It's 2025 now. Bayyinah TV is $11 a month.
Oh, still.
yeah.
Still.
But with a
And
bigger...
then we changed our pricing structure so that audiences in Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, and we're adding to the list now, can get the subscription for cheaper because those countries have lower average income, median income. So instead of the formula being let's up the price over time, my vision is to actually decrease the
Over
price
Yeah.
over time. And my ultimate dream, if there was no barriers to entry, right now it's $11 a month and we have subscribers all over the world, right? My ultimate dream is to bring it down to like $2 or $3 a month, but that can only happen if the subscriber base grows to a point
You
where I
scale
can do
the-
that.
yeah.
And the way I compensate for that now is we give more free subscriptions than we have paid subscriptions. We give them away. A gift sponsorship program. Yeah. So that idea really took off. And then I wanted Netflix or Bayyinah, our Netflix, Bayyinah TV to be all things Quran related and all things Qur'anic Arabic related. So if anybody says, I want to learn, I don't even know how to read the Quran, I got something for you.
Oh.
I know how to read the Quran, I don't understand it, I got something for you. I want to go through the entire Quran, I got something for you. What does the Quran say about this subject? I got a course on that for you. What about Quran for parents? I got a course for you. What about Quran for organizations? I got a course for you. Like, I kept adding course after course after course after course, and subject after subject. You've done a commentary on Surah Al-Baqarah, but I wanted a deeper dive. Okay, let's do deeper dives now. I've been doing deep dive surahs for 15 years now. We've done I'd say about more than half of the Quran.
Wow.
And we need about another 12 years probably to finish the rest. That's most of my year's Quran study to add more to the library on the deep dive series, right? Inshallah, I'll be doing one of the deep dive surahs here in the summer if it gets approved. Surah An-Nur. I'll be doing it here, inshallah, right? So one of my visions in life is to continue and complete that library with my team, so that it's a legacy project, right? It's a resource for generations to come.
Yep.
And with AI coming about the way it is, you can get that translated into multiple languages, eventually in much better quality, and it becomes a global resource for anybody who wants to engage with Quran at that level, right? So that's the Bayyinah TV story. And then people came after I launched it. People said, "Why don't you just put everything on YouTube? Why can't you make it free for the ummah?" I said, "Because I won't. Because there's a difference between da'wah and education. Da'wah is free. If I give a khutbah somewhere, that's da'wah. It's ibadah. If I get invited to a conference to maybe encourage the youth or something. That's dawah. The conference is being organized by a non-profit organization, and they're collecting donations from people to put the conference together. I'm not going to take a penny from them. I've spoken to conferences around the world. I don't charge an honorarium. Most cases, I say I'll pay my own flight. Don't worry about it. If I believe in your cause, I'll help you. No problem. But education is education. You should pay for education.
This podcast is da'wah.
Yeah, this is da'wah, right?
Right. It's dawah.
Yeah.
So there's no discussion about honorarium or what's my cut, or who cares?
Yeah.
And so I, in my mind, there was a clear distinction between what you do as a public service and what you do as a
your
paid service.
Yeah.
And the paid service should also be a public service, but it needs investment from the other end. Otherwise, I cannot provide you top level education.
Correct.
What's the only other alternative? Because no matter what venture you do, you'll need finances, right? Okay, so the other avenue is, okay, no, don't charge people money, just ask for donations. When you ask for donations,
Not sustainable.
that's the least of the problems. When you ask for donations, somebody might cut a big check. Once they cut a big check, that comes with big influence. You no longer have intellectual freedom. I don't like what you said about this surah. I'm not going to write you a check again. I don't like that you covered this subject. I have a different take on it. Why should I take... Why the work that I'm doing needs intellectual independence. It can't have influence.
Almost like Oxford University, right? Almost like, all these organizations, all these institute, they can't be,
They can't be
influenced by
Even though they are in many cases. But,
But that calls for a different
you know,
discussion.
but so that to me was really vital. And I can speak my mind. I can be corrected. That's fine, but I won't be coerced. Right? That's part of the integrity of the thing. The other thing is, if I put it on YouTube, you think that's free? You need to study content better. It's not free. You are paying YouTube with your viewership time.
Correct.
And YouTube and Google are generating revenue off of your screen time. They are mining you.
Right.
So you want me to make Google rich. You want me to make YouTube rich. I think they're rich enough. I'll use them, but I think we need to make Muslim educational and other institutions rich. So I'm perfect. I have clear conscience that this should be an enterprise. It should not be a charitable venture. It should be profitable. Now, Bayyinah has a profitable wing or nonprofit wing, Bayyinah Foundation. That should fund research. That should fund student sponsorships. That should fund the nonprofit ventures that don't have to do with education.
Yep.
That's the philanthropic side of things. So to me, separating those two things brought a lot of advantages. By the way, also with nonprofits, you have a board of trustees. When you have a board of trustees, eventually it becomes a board of mistrustees. Right? Right? And eventually the CEO gets bored of the trustees. Right? There's always internal conflicts, especially when the thing starts growing. Right? I know what I want to do for Bayyinah. Bayyinah was an extension of my own IP. I didn't want to have politics and bureaucracy control the thing, so I can steer it. And nonprofits have great benefit, but they move like a freight container, and a company and a business moves like a speedboat.
More dynamic, yeah.
It can be agile. So I can't lose my agility. So, and that, alhamdulillah, the benefits of that greatly benefited myself, my team, my staff, but it definitely benefited, I think, our audience, because we kept pushing ourselves for higher quality. And this is the last thing I'll say about this. If you have a pizza place, and they make bad pizza, are people going to keep coming back?
No, of course.
No. But if you have a charity organization, or you have a school that's running on donations, and you provide bad education, you'll still find somebody to cut you a check because you'll guilt them about their ticket to Jannah. And it's the 27th of Ramadan. And gift for the future of our children. You haven't improved anything about their children's education. You haven't made any teacher trainings. You haven't done anything to actually create better job placement for these kids. But for the sake of Allah, give us. It's the odd nights of Ramadan. So you know what you can do? You don't have to improve anything about your quality because there's no hunger in you to keep your customer satisfied and to update the quality of your product. That's what happens in the non-commercial sector. There's a stagnation that happens. and then bureaucracies happen. People want to keep things the way they are. This is how we always did things. No business survives when they say, "Oh, that's how we always did it," because the business says reality is changing, tech is changing, the customer is changing, environments are changing. We gotta adapt. We gotta keep moving, right? So it's to me, all of these factors led me to structure the company in that way. And alhamdulillah, I've been very happy with how it's been progressing since.
And of course, as the company grows, as the venture grows, a lot of challenges also come by. So what would you say was the biggest challenge from doing this Bayyinah
Trust.
project? Pardon?
Trust.
Trust.
Yeah. I think that I learned the hard way that Muslims in the professional space, in the business space, you can't bring Islam into the equation and imagine that people that are Muslim are going to also have integrity. I said it jokingly in a few sessions here. I don't know anybody in business who's Muslim who hasn't been screwed over by another Muslim. I've had the craziest things happen to me running this company imaginable. Imaginable. I've had guys that were leaking our financial reports to competitors and to others who meant us harm. Accountants. Right? And then they got fired for it. And when they got fired for it, they came back and said, "Hey, Jazakallah khairan. However, I have this proposal." "What's the proposal, buddy? You just got fired." "Here's the proposal. I worked for you for 6 years. And 6 years is 72 months. And I think I would like a bonus of $1,000 for each of those months. So I'm asking for a humble bonus of $72,000. But since we know each other for a long time, 6 years, I'm willing to give you a 50% discount. So I'll only charge you $36,000 with a straight face." With a straight face. And I'm looking at this guy like, "You just got fired." Yeah, but please read the proposal. Okay. I think this is a little heavy for me. I'm going to take some time to read it. Thank you very much.
So
Right.
different characters, eh?
I saw Sheikh mention something about in one of your podcast sessions where please don't be gullible to people. Now I understand. I understand deeper. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Trust people, but be careful.
Trust is earned.
Yep.
Trust has to be built. That's one. Growing people, developing people is a work in progress. You're never going to get the perfect VP or the perfect CEO or the perfect manager or the perfect assistant. They're going to mess up. And you have an impulse. How could you mess up? Done is your last warning. Or you could say, let's process this mistake. And I need to see that this mistake will never be repeated again, or anything in the neighborhood of this mistake will not be repeated again. How do I make sure that you and I learn from this, that this never happens again? So you want to enhance the intelligence and the IQ, the business IQ of your team without them feeling threatened. There comes a point where you correct and you correct and you correct and you correct and you correct. And you're like, you know what, this is an endless bottomless pit. I think it's time to let go. That'll happen.
Yep.
Right? And nobody who's ever been fired thinks it was fair.
Yeah.
That's the fact of it, right? But at some point you do have to pull the plug. But there is ways to develop your team, and that's a better business strategy too, because it builds loyalty. Right? You know, someone who's functioning at 80%, but they're deathly loyal to you, is better than someone who's 100% and you're not sure about their loyalty.
Yeah.
Because they can take your best practices, they can take the best of the experience. And by the way, when you're in business, you open doors for others, right? Like if you have a VP, you're going to a meeting, you're going to meet some people, you're going to take your VP with you.
Yep.
So now you opened a door, not just, and you're thinking, oh, we're both the same company, so we're going. But he's thinking, one day I'll leave this job. Good thing I have this business contact. Right? Because there's not enough trust. He's building his own database of contacts using you that he can leverage later on. Right? To build his own empire or to do whatever. This happens all the time.
Yep.
Right? But if you have people you can trust, you want to open doors for them because you know that this person, these contacts that he's making or she's making, they're making these contacts so that together we grow. They don't have separate aspirations to spin off and run and do their own thing. How do I know that? Because they know that I'm invested in them. They know that I've seen them fall and I picked them back up. And that takes really hard work to build. And I was terrible at it. I was terrible at it. I hired people to do that. And that was my mistake because the people I hired decided to make things even worse. Right? So first I recognized this is a weakness I have. I don't have the ability to fill it. I'm the ideas guy. I'm not the execution guy. Right? I'm the vision guy, but I'm not the leader, the operations, the keeping the pulse of the company and all that. That's not me. I'm in my own world. So I need somebody who can do that. The person you put in that position is a very powerful person. They're supposed to be an extension of you. But what happens most of the time is they have such an ego of their own eventually that they start becoming a gatekeeper from you. And they, in cases I've even experienced before, they are your most trusted person and they are backbiting you the most. They're the one holding meetings in their homes to talk about you. Never talk to you, talk about you.
Ayo.
And they're they're your highest paid employee. And they're doing that. So in business, you see some crazy things.
Yeah.
And I thought this is what happens in the corporate world, because I used to be in corporate. This happens in the corporate world. Muslims, Quran and Sunnah, Akhirah, Allah's guidance, taqwa. We know better. Nah, bro. No. The stuff you see inside this world, it makes corporate look like they've been doing tahajjud. It's ugly.
Yep.
It's very ugly. So it gave me a hard lesson about not to assume. I don't assume the worst in people, but I'm not naive as much anymore.
And I think in business you got to go through the experience in order for you to learn all the things that you said just now, right? Because as human beings, we always think other people, they are the same like us. If we feel like we are nice people, we think they are also the same. But actually, you've got to also learn from every.
Can't be too naive. How you said it.
One of the things I learned, I don't think people are evil.
Situation makes them evil.
I think the freedom I gave them, I said, I trust you, run with it. When you give someone too much room, I don't know, shaitan starts messing with them, man.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, they go from, I'm so grateful, to this is so amazing, thank you. I'll do my best, to, hey, I think I'm doing a lot. I need more appreciation. To, I don't even know why you're running things. I should be the one running things. To, this corporation is evil. We need to get out of here. I'm going to make sure I burn this to the ground. Like, there's a trajectory. Even if they don't say it, there's a trajectory. Where did it come from? I think you give too much freedom. You give importance. And then they start getting an inflated self of importance. You're only here because of me. It's like, actually, no, I was here before you and I hired you. And you didn't volunteer anything. You were paid to do what you did, and you didn't do it well. But okay, if that's the story you want to tell yourself, right? So it's a alhamdulillah, what I'm really grateful about now at this point is I have a very trustable team and have a team with a lot of integrity. And I make mistakes, they make mistakes, but we sometimes have heated discussions inside. We go at each other. But we know, there's one thing we know, we want the best for this project, this work that we're doing. And we allow ourselves to give ourselves room to openly communicate, hash things out and keep moving forward. Alhamdulillah.
It's more for the betterment of the company.
Yeah.
I've heard from my brother as well, a lot of, in his industry as well, in Islamic travel, there's a lot of, like how you say it.
Scams. That's how you say it.
Okay, Sheikh. We are going to one of my favorite segments, which is called Hard and Interesting Question. So we have about 2 questions that we want to ask you. Okay, Sheikh. In Malaysia, we often hear debates about Sunnah wal Jamaah, Wahhabi, and also different interpretation and practices. And as a normal Muslim boy growing up here, sometimes it gets confusing. Which is right and which one for you to follow. And in my community, for example, right, doing tahlil for people who has passed away is something meaningful that brings family together and also reminds us of akhirah. But to some people, they think it's not appropriate. So as someone who just wants to practice his faith, how do we navigate these differences without confusing or without confusion or division?
I think differences will always be there. I think these kinds of practices, I never speak about in favor of them or against them. And that's not because I don't have an opinion, because I think we miss the point when we have these discussions. The real point is that what binds us together as Muslims is much greater than any of these differences. You're entitled to your position, I'm entitled to my position, and if you're questioning if it's appropriate or not, then I have two responses. One response is, I like it though. I'm going to keep doing it because it feels good. I don't see the problem in it. Or I'll say, let me learn more about it. Let me see what you're saying has any validity to it. I'll consider it. But you are able to have a disagreement without making it a litmus test for who is and isn't a true Muslim. There are teachers I have that have opinions that I don't agree with, and I love them to death. And their Islam looks different from mine because of their opinion, but that changes nothing in my appreciation of them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't dilute my disagreement with them either. I still very much disagree with them on whatever issue, right? So I think that these are an acceptable part of the variety within the ummah. Whether I agree with that variety or not is less important. Allah told us to cooperate and be good with people who even believe that God has a son. Right? Ta'awanu 'alal birri wat taqwa. Cooperate with Jews and Christians on common ground. If I can even cooperate with people who rejected my prophet and cooperate with people who say God has a son, I'm pretty sure I can cooperate with someone who had a certain ceremony or didn't have a certain ceremony.
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
But how do we know which is the right way? Like, in terms of
the question, to me, that's the wrong question.
Yeah.
The right question is, how do we know what's our priority? To me, God sent his final words to humanity. Neither group has taken the time to even get up to surah number 3. Right? But they want to debate what to do at somebody's passing. Right? Can you, the religion came this is not the crux of, there's the core of the religion, there's the first periphery of the religion, the main teachings of the religion, then there's the additional teachings of the religion, and then finally there's the disagreed issues. That's the outer circle. And now most of our conversations are about the outer circle as if we've already done all of our due diligence to 1, 2, 3, 4. Think of it this way in the business sense. In the business sense, you've got your core business practices, your core business. Then you've got the essential HR and internal
Support
management
services.
support system, right? And then you've got where are we going to have the office party? Right?
Yeah, makes sense.
And you're debating 90% of the time about the office party or about what color carpet should we get for the studio, right? But at the end you said, but which one though? Which color though? Right? Let's stop talking about the carpet. We got something more important going on right now in this religion
Makes sense.
that needs our attention. It's just,
Which color though?
Understand? Yeah.
Yeah, well
That's
said.
very
Yeah.
interesting perspective.
Yep.
Sheikh. Okay, Sheikh. In Malaysia, we have a very deep love for our scholars, especially the Habib.
I'll say one more thing about that. If somebody was having that ceremony and I knew them, I wouldn't correct them. If somebody was speaking out against it, I'd say speak out against it. Not right now, they're suffering. You can just talk about this later. Right now is a sensitive time. Somebody else decided not to do it, and some of the family wants to do it. Right? I wouldn't comment on anybody. I would just say, this is not the time to be having this fight. This is the time to remember that a person passed away and we should just make dua for them. That's all. Have these discussions at another time. Right? Humanize the thing. Humanize it. Because in doing so, the feelings you were hurt are a much bigger religious problem than whether or not you held the ceremony.
Yep.
Right? So let's keep our eyes on the prize. Like
Priorities.
priorities. قولوا للناس حسنا. Speak to people beautifully.
Yeah.
Don't hurt feelings. You know?
Yep.
Anyway, you were saying, the ustads.
Amazing. Okay, share. In Malaysia, as I mentioned just now, we have a very deep love for scholars and especially the
see
Habib
that,
and
yeah.
also our local ulama, right? And some communities express that love physically, like kissing their hands, seeking their dua, and also even hoping for barakah from being close to them. So for some people, it becomes a form of adab and also respect. But sometimes it goes to a point where outsiders consider it as an act of taksub or act of
Like obsessed.
yeah, like an act of obsession. So, from your perspective, what is the healthy, balanced way to honor our scholar without crossing into
I
exaggeration?
spoke about that before.
Yep.
Personally, I'm not a fan of aggrandizing
Dehumanizing.
religious leadership. I think we should respect everybody. I think the greatest scholar in the world deserves no more respect than my father. And there's nothing I should do for, the most righteous human being on earth, in my interactions with them, than I should do for, an older gentleman who's just walking down the street, or a waiter at a restaurant who's 75 years old. Right? An elder should be respected with kindness. Wisdom should be respected. Our parents should be respected. Right? We're a religion of marhama, of loving care, mercy. But we're not a religion of VIP treatment. I don't see it. So I'm not saying disrespect the ulama, but I'm saying that respect for someone is basically a function of what they've done for you. And if that's the case, then you should all have way more respect for your dad, for your mom, than you do for anybody outside. It doesn't seem to add up for me that that's the case. Then if that's the case, then you should probably go back to your old kindergarten and just constantly pay reverence to your kindergarten teacher, because without that foundation that they laid for you to teach you that A and B and C are letters of the alphabet, you wouldn't be sitting here talking and writing articles and doing papers, right? They laid the foundation for you. So is that not sacred knowledge? It is also sacred knowledge. So to me, I think reverence and respect and dua is important, and I give it. And there are scholars I respect very deeply and honor very deeply. But I do think it's weird when you get like kind of fangirly and fanboy around them, or you get like, oh my god, yeah, like.
But I'm sure you get that a lot also, right?
I get that, and I was like, stop being weird. Like people come and say, kiss that. Like, stop kissing my head, bro. I just washed it. Then I try to kiss their hand. Like, no, please. See how it feels? You see how that feels? I don't want that either. But most of the time, because I'm dressed like this, they're like, yeah, he's not that Islamic. So he can't be holy. I used to wear a thobe when I was younger. I used to have a longer beard. I had a turban, and old men would come and kiss my hand. I was like, yeah, this is not happening. I'm putting jeans on. That's it. I'm done. Because they just look at you and think you're a holy man or something, right? Like, no. This is not for us. But these practices, their origin, and different cultures have, and I respect different cultures and the way they show respect. Here, for example, children show respect to the elders by kissing the hand. Right? And I think there's an element of beauty in that too. From an outside perspective, I think that's beautiful. When I go to Turkey and I see like in Afghanistan, when people say thank you, they hold their chest. Tashakkur. I think it's beautiful. My boy does it now with when he says thank you to his grandpa. He says tashakkur, like he holds his chest. So there's beautiful aspects to the culture, but yes, anything can be taken too far. And we know when it's too far. There are no popes in our religion.
Yeah, understand. Yeah, I think it's a
Interesting take.
Yeah, very interesting take. Okay, share. Our last question for today, like to our audience who's watching, right? What would be your advice to them for them to be the best version of themselves? doesn't matter what they do in business or whatever, but how do you be the best version of yourself?
Final piece of advice.
I think there's like 1,000 ways to answer that question, right? But the latest thing that's on my mind, I'm not saying this is my final answer, is I think if we become people of two things, curiosity and humility together, we'll be all right. And what do I mean by that? Curiosity means I don't know enough, I want to know more. So you're a constant learner. Humility means even when you learn something, you're humble to the fact that that might not be the final truth. There may be better information out there. You bring that attitude to your career. You bring that attitude to your learning of religion. You bring that attitude to your dealings with people. I'm curious and I'm humble. And I'm curious and I'm humble. Now, I've been teaching for 25 years. I sit next to a taxi driver, but I'm curious. And when he says something, I don't say, well, actually, according to this mufassir. No, I'm humble to the wisdom he might drop on me. Right? I don't size him up and say, no, he has nothing to offer me. I have something to offer him. Sometimes I sit with other people, like 3 people in the taxi, me and a friend, or me and someone else, and the taxi driver. And I start talking to the taxi driver, and the guy next to me gets uneasy. He goes, you want to ask him if they know who you are? Like, why would I ask them that? I just want to see if they know who you are. Like, I don't want to see if they know who I am. Why? Hey, do you know who that is? I was like, you ruined it, bro. I was having a normal conversation and you ruined it. Right? And then they say no. It's like, you don't know who they are. It's like, I'm never traveling with you again. You know? What that is, I need this person to be impressed with me. Right? What is that? That's a lack of humility. Right? And this person needs to be curious about me, as if I shouldn't be curious about them. If you internalize these two things, go hand in hand always. Curiosity, humility. Even in my research work, I'm studying Quran. I'm curious about what this ayah has to say. I'm studying, and I reach a conclusion that I'm like, am I right? Because I'm very impressed with my conclusion. But I still have to be humble to the fact that it might be correct. So I go to take it to my peers and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about this ayah. Do you think it's right? Can you attack this for me? Criticize it as best you can. Because I need this idea to be humbled. Right? And then when they attack it, it brings more curiosity, more humility, more curiosity. What happens usually? Someone becomes curious, they come to a conclusion, they become convinced of their conclusion. There's no more humility. Right? Or some people are so humble, like this book said, this expert said, my elder said, the CEO said, this one said, that one said. Constantly humble, no curiosity. Right? You need people in your team. When you're making a major decision, you're like, hey, what do you think this quarter? Should we make this move or this move or this move? There's going to be 2 kinds of people in your room. Extremes. The curious people, they're going to say, I don't think that's a good idea. I think we should do this instead. And they're not saying it because they want to throw another idea out there. They already know it all. Right? They're coming as if you're wrong, I'm right. Right? And the other group, no, we should just do what the CEO says. So the curious people get arrogant and the humble people become yes men. Right? But if you have 2 things in one person, oh man.
Checks.
These 2 elements in one personality, hey, you have this idea, but I think it might be a problem for this reason. And you say, I thought about that, but here's why I don't think that's a problem. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. What about this third factor? Oh, okay. And now you're having a discussion where both of these elements are flying side by side. That's when I think progress happens. That's why when a person grows, when an organization grows, when a society grows.
Amazing. And I think, you're right. Being a continuous learner, I think is important. Learn from everything that happens in your life. Learn from every person that you meet. I think that makes you a student of life. And when you're a student of life, you tend to get more knowledge. And when you have more knowledge, you sort of realize that actually there's so many things that you don't know as well.
And you revisit some of your past conclusions. Right? You rethink things.
So I think it's amazing. Thank you so much, Sheikh.
You're quite welcome.
For being here. I had an amazing conversation with you. I learned so much.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm sorry I'm a bit nervous today. I
got nervous too.
But talking to you really opens up a lot of perspective for me. And learning about your past life or your childhood and how you grew up and how you got here and how you built Bayyinah, these are the stories that gives a lot of inspiration to me, and I hope gives a lot of inspiration to many others as well.
Yep.
So, any last word from you? What?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sheikh, for your time. I really appreciate it. I really love your ending because you always hear people saying stay curious, but that humility factor, I think, is quite essential towards that advice.
Yeah.
I really feel it. And I'm excited to explore Bayyinah. For everybody else, we'll include the link as well, Sheikh, down,
Much appreciated.
down below.
Yeah.
For anybody who wants
Yeah,
to
go
explore.
to the concise commentary, everyone. Start there, little at a time.
Yep. And we are looking forward to any collaboration maybe in
Yeah,
future.
inshallah. Why not?
Inshallah.
Why not?
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Right, thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Again, Sheikh.
Great conversation, guys. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
And hopefully you enjoy the rest of your time in Malaysia.
Yeah, I
as
will.
well.
Yes.
I will. I plan on it, inshallah.
All right, so to everyone watching, thank you so much for tuning in. Inshallah, we'll see you guys again next year. This is the last episode of our season this year. And inshallah, we'll see you guys next year with more powerful stories and hopefully can inspire you guys more.
Yep. Thank you so much. See you guys very shortly.
All right, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum.